Hello and welcome everybody to 1989. I remember 1989. I remember being in school. I remember talking about the Eastern Bloc in Europe, about the Berlin Wall. Why is there the Berlin Wall? It's like way back in World War II, Germany was split in half. So through the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, all the way to 89. So what's that, like almost 50 years? They were, 40 years, 45-ish years. They were split. West Germany, East Germany, Berlin was split. And so the lasting effects of war were visible. And it all started to crumble. They opened up the border between East and West Berlin, which was amazing at the time because people thought that would never happen. And so the whole Eastern Bloc was just crumbling. Soviet Union kind of dissolved. And we find ourselves where we are today. So an interesting time, to say the least, in the world. 1989. Ben Hogan came out with this Apex wood. Now, a lot of people, myself included, Ben Hogan golf. People are like, they made some great irons. Their woods were kind of, were they even made by the Ben Hogan brand, or were they just like contracted out to like Louisville Golf or something? I don't know. I don't have any answers to that. I wasn't there, so I don't know. If you know, leave it in the comments below. But Apex was a wonderful brand. The first time I remember it was in my research was, I think it was 1972? It was like, I think in the 70s, early 70s, where they came out with the Apex branded irons. I made a review about some of the early Apex irons. Wonderful, wonderful irons. And the woods, following suit along with that branding. Callaway has since purchased the Ben Hogan brand. I think that's actually changed hands again. But when Callaway owned it, they just took the Apex branding, so now they have Apex irons and stuff, and it's not a bad name, all right? So we have the wood here. Is this forgotten club by many, not everybody, but are Ben Hogan Apex woods a forgotten classic? Let's get this on the review table and have a closer look. As with so many persimmons, the sole is the easiest way to identify it. Oil hardened, serial number, Ben Hogan, the wood number, in this case the 1, 2 red lines, Apex, 4-screw battle axe style sole plate, and you can see the shaft. As with most persimmons, bore through. You can see it's pinned. Look at that lovely shiny brass pin. We spin around the skirt, you can see been refinished, nothing, no branding, no speed slot. Ben Hogan in gold on the top. It's been refinished again, so it darkened it up. It looks dark or black or brown, but it looks like it's originally supposed to be gold. And then we have the lovely continuous grooves here on the face with a 4-screw diamond pattern on the face insert. Absolutely lovely. Ben Hogan persimmon here. So the whipping runs up to this little sticker, silver red, silver black sticker to a stepped shaft. Obviously the famous Hogan Apex shaft. This is, you can see here, 4 flex. That's what, stiffer. My sticker reminded me 1989. We have this royal cord grip. It looks like there's lots of life left in it. It feels like there's lots of life left in it. Cordy with this nice tread on it. I mean, it seems pretty aggressive here. It does say, it's not going to show up in this lighting, but it says made in the USA, cord something. Anyway, we have the royal crown, the royal cord grip. So this feels actually pretty good. So it's already damaged a little bit, but we'll take this out on the range and see how it feels. Ben Hogan Apex solid persimmon. This thing, let's go through the checklist real quick. Grip, good. Stepped steel shaft, red band on it, looks very Ben Hogan-esque. The club head looks small and solid persimmon. I love that look. The way this all blends together, it's obviously been refinished. The Ben Hogan looks like it used to be gold, but now I'm just looking at that dark signature, which looks okay at address. There's nothing offensive about it, other than, from the modern era, looks a little small. I wonder what it was like back in the day when people were deciding between this and like a Pittsburgh persimmon. If you were ever in that camp, like trying to decide between this and like a TaylorMade, let us know in the comments below. Like, how did that work out for you? How did that go?
And why did you choose one over the other? Yeah, so it's just kind of hard from the modern era to look back and just imagine. But it is a fun thought exercise. So my pattern as of late is big slices. So let's see if we can be predictable. The wind is actually off the right to left. So if it moves in that direction, you know it was a bad slice. All right, here we go. That one felt a little thin, maybe a little heely, but it gave me feedback. I got some pretty good distance on it with a little left to right movement on it. Very predictable. How predictable? So, I mean, straight off the bat, I like that whack. Like even outdoors. Like indoors is even more amplified because you're not getting that loud tonk or tink. But just a loud whack like a Louisville slugger, you know? Should pros all be required to play this club? Let's do a couple more. See, that one was a little high on the face. Maybe lose a little distance. If you stay tuned to the end of the video, I'm sure I'll have some range footage, some indoor range footage, some simulator footage with some numbers. All right, we have a broken tee here. Let's see if you're good for one more shot. Come on, balancing act. That tee's dead. All right, next tee. Nope, that one's broken. nothing but a whole lot of broken tees here. All right, let's try again. Thrilling content, as usual. What did you learn on the Vintage Golfer today? That wooden tees break. Glad I'm here to help out with that. All right, last one here. I'm gonna take a full-on swing and risk massive slice. Oh, baby. That one actually felt the best. A little fadey there. Depending on what course I'm on, I'd be in the rough or in a pond, swimming. Well, I love this Persimmon. I mean, when you get that nice whack feel, when you connect with it like I just did, it feels so good, so desirable. Ben Hogan. I mean, we pay so much attention to their irons, but I think their woods deserve some attention as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.
On the range, this is tiny, unforgiving, recalcitrant, but it sure is beautiful. So I think we're missing some of the point when we talk about equipment, especially like vintage equipment. There are times in our life where we like to challenge ourselves. And golf, more than any other sport, I feel, is an individual thing. Now, I know there's big things like team sports. I understand there are other individual sports, tennis, you know, playing singles in tennis, bowling, all sorts of like interesting sports. But in running, oh, don't get me started on running. But golf is like that. Golf is very much a skill-based thing. It's like, who are you competing against? Oh, well, yeah, these other players, but like ultimately it's against yourself. And I love what this brings to the table with golf. Yes, it's from 1989, which was a very interesting year, very interesting time. I remember that time. The white socks with the color bands around, you know, the calf of it. Ooh, I had a lot of those growing up. And golf, you know, golf, they were still doing the things that they do today. Ben Hogan, the brand Ben Hogan, released the speed slot. Can you think of other companies that are selling speed these days? Let me think. Aerodynamics. Speed. I mean, they wouldn't even put speed in an acronym or something, would they? Anyway, so the marketing is there. It's always been there. But ultimately what it comes down to is, let's challenge ourselves. Can you do that best with a Persimmon? That's why I love this stuff. I love it. I love it. That's why it feels so good for me. When I hit a straight drive with my TaylorMade M2, I have a Callaway Maverick as well. When I hit a straight drive with one of those, it's 2023 for those of you who are interested. When I'm making this video, I watch those go straight down the fairway, and it's just like, oh, that's a lovely drive. You know, I hit one with this, then I'm just like, Yes! And it feels a lot better when you hit one far and long and straight with a Persimmon. So for me, this is something every time I look at it, I'm just like, oh, it's so beautiful. I want this. The sole is beautiful. It has a soul. Terrible dad jokes. And the top, the persimmon, the solid wood, the face, everything about this is pleasing to the eye. Nothing about it's offensive. It's not like, ugh, why is that plain? There's no unity or harmony or rhythm in here? No, it's all just lovely. It's lovely. It's perfectly proportioned. So I'm very happy with this club. I'm going to build a set around these woods, or at least put it in a set. We'll see. Stay tuned. Sometime in the next few years, I'll get around to playing it. But this is absolutely a wonderful persimmon. I think so often we lose sight of Ben Hogan as making or being involved with the creation of some nice woods. Now, like I said, I don't know the history of Ben Hogan persimmons. Were they made by an outside contractor like Louisville Golf, or were they made in-house? I just don't know, right? I imagine the speed slots were made in-house, but I don't know if this one, in 1989, the Apex, was. So set me up with some red lines and this driver. I'm rocking and rolling and having a good time, challenging myself, doing things because they're hard. Let me know your thoughts about the Ben Hogan Apex Woods in the comments below. What are your memories? What are your thoughts? As usual, huge shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. I have general support on Patreon. That's it. I post a few behind the scenes pictures and updates. I really appreciate all my patrons. It just means a lot to me that I have some support, some supporters who are willing to put their money where their mouth is and support this channel. So thank you. I'd also like to encourage everybody to visit my Amazon shop. I am an Amazon associate. I make proceeds from qualifying purchases. If you visit that Amazon shop, in the links in the description below, you'll find some golf-related things and some other things that if you purchase, it's just through Amazon, not through me. I'm not selling them, but I make a little commission, like pennies, on every purchase. So that also helps this channel. I'd encourage you to subscribe if you enjoy this content. Thank you so much for watching. I am The Vintage Golfer.